Once the FIA decided to authorise four-wheel drive cars in their top Group 4 rally category from 1979, Audi got serious about a World Championship rally programme for the still-secret Quattro.
Stig Blomqvist has a marvellous story that he tells about Audi. When he asked somebody once what they were going to drive next year, they said an Audi, and then people started laughing, and after the first event nobody was laughing anymore. It became a very sophisticated car. It was 140 miles an hour, very quiet transmission levels, and it was a devastating performance road car as well as a devastating rally car.
Everybody wants to go to Audi because that was the best car those days. So there was a lot of good drivers in the team, and okay, we have all the importers team around Europe as well who had good drivers and things. So it was very hard competition in Audi, if you take it that way. Because the car was so good, you don't even was thinking about bad things on the car because the traction and the speed from the car was so good. For me, who came from front-wheel drive car, was quite not easy, but I think it was more easy for me and for people from rear-wheel drive cars, because it was the same technique to drive the four-wheel drive as the front-wheel drive.
The company saw it as the perfect way to prove the worth of the four-wheel drive concept for their road cars, so essentially money was no object. Hanno Mikkola and Michel Mouton were hired to drive the new 300 horsepower 5-cylinder turbo coupes in 1981, and success came almost immediately. There were 3 victories in that first year, and the Quattro then won the 1982 World Series very comfortably, with 7 outright victories. The no-holds-barred Group B category was introduced for 1983. The more specialised version of the Quattro was homologated. It used a slightly smaller 5-cylinder engine, but was lighter and developed 360 horsepower. That was the year in which this new A2 derivative of the Quattro won 5 World Championship events, and when Hanno Mikkola won the driver's title. In 1984, a 3-car team, Mikkola, Walter Röhrl and Stig Blomqvist, used the ultimate A2. Between them, they won 7 world title qualifiers, and Blomqvist became world champion. As with the original Quattro, the all-wheel drive traction of the A2 was superb, but it was nose-heavy, with a tendency to understeer. The Sport Quattro had actually been previewed in 1983 and rallied from 1984. It was a shorter wheelbase, more powerful and more specialised version of the original Quattro, with just over 12 inches chopped out of the wheelbase, thus turning the car into a 2-seater. Even the first Sport Quattros had 400 horsepower, 4 valves per cylinder, 20-valve engines and a 6-speed transmission. But though it was much faster and more powerful, the first version of the Sport model didn't handle as well as the original long wheelbase Quattro. To overcome the handling problems, Audi speedily developed an evolution version of the Sport Quattro, the awesome S1. This derivative of the original car was homologated in mid-1985. Extrovert aerodynamic and packaging changes included placing engine cooling radiators in the boot. Weighing only 1,200 kilograms, or just over 2,600 pounds, the S1 put out a monstrous 450 brake horsepower. It was an unwieldy monster, needing brave men to get the best from it. Walter Röhrl won the 1985 San Remo rally, but there were no more victories for the S1. After Group B cars were involved in tragedies in both Portugal and Corsica during 1986, Audi withdrew from the class. Like other manufacturers in the class, they were worried that the combination of superfast cars and the huge, uncontrollable crowds that they attracted was a recipe for disaster. The International Automobile Federation agreed with them and banned Group B with immediate effect, halfway through the 1986 season. At the stroke of a pen, the world's most advanced rally cars, including the fearsome Audi Sport Quattro S1, were obsolete. There was, however, another challenge for which the Group B cars were ideally suited. Pikes Peak is a 14,000-foot high mountain in the Colorado Rockies, with a 12.5-mile dirt road snaking its way right to the summit. Cars had raced up this road since the 1920s, and the Independence Day Pikes Peak hill climb on July the 4th each year is one of the classic events on the American motorsports calendar. Seeing a great opportunity for spectacular exposure of the Quattro in the lucrative American market, Audi further developed the S1 into a formidable Pikes Peak car. It had more than 600 horsepower and sported more wings than any other competition car before or since. Audi's first efforts on the road to the peak came in 1985 and 86 with Bobby Unser and Michel Mouton. At that time, the American spectators could hardly believe that these outwardly stock cars were matching the times of the single-seater Pikes Peak specials that had hitherto dominated the hill. In 1987, they simply couldn't believe their eyes when Audi appeared with its Pikes Peak special. Going head-to-head with Ari Vatanen in a Works 205 T16, Walter Röhrl shattered the outright record for the hill. He climbed the 12.5 miles of dirt road in 10 minutes 47.85 seconds. And here's how he did it. Sit back and hold on to your armchair.